Donkey Kong is an action platformer puzzle video game. First released in 1981, the game features a large ape and other characters which I will name later on in the video. This arcade game is a little different from the Donkey Kong games that we know today, the games that we have come and known to love, just to put it in a different way here. But I've never actually played this arcade cab. I have played Donkey Kong, of course, on the NES and on emulator over the years, but I must say, playing this game, even on the Nintendo, it's a hard game. I think I've gotten to level 2 or 3, and then I end up getting stuck. This game right here is all about timing and jumping and just timing things just right down to the T in order to advance to the next level. And there are documentaries on people that have tried to beat this game or have been successful at it and trying to get the highest score. That was I forget the name of the documentary, so I'll put it in the description box of this video. Now, this is a fan-made cover here, so it looks authentic to a point, but if you look at it closely you can tell that it's fan-made, but that's cool. I mean, good game. I don't own a physical copy of the game yet, but I will likely get one in the future. But it's a great Nintendo game. It's just as hard as the arcade game, as far as I know, or they may have made the game harder. Donkey Kong. Here it is on the Game Boy. Don't know how good this one is, but this game was released on the Game Boy back in 1994. My guess is it's a pretty good port, because Nintendo was known to do really good ports of their console games onto the handhelds. Interesting cover there. Nintendo always seemed to be just very crafty, and their artists were really good at coming up with covers for their video games, whether they be the handhelds or the consoles. But that same year, Donkey Kong Country was released on the Super Nintendo. This is a great game. I owned. I got this game on. I think it was on release date. Back then, my dad would buy the video games for us, and we'd see the ads for the video games in magazines and on TV, and just be waiting for these games with bated breath. I mean, there's this series of games. It's one of the best on the Super Nintendo, and when I play these games now, they bring back a lot of great memories. An incredible 3D adventure in the Kingdom of Kong. So you got great little characters in there. You got Diddy Kong and the enemies. I forget all the names of the enemies because I actually don't have a manual for this game. But this game, as you can see on the box here, it was only for Nintendo. Great action platformer. You gotta solve some puzzles and do some timed jumps. Just jump out of these barrels just right before you hit a B, or before you don't make it. Jumping out of a barrel and you gotta land on a cliff or whatnot. Donkey Kong Land 1 was released on the Game Boy back in 1990. Oh, I guess it was released in 94. I guess after the first game. This is kind of like a spin-off of the first Donkey Kong game. I think it has similar levels and characters, and the sound is obviously going to be scaled down, but it's by no means an actual port of the first Donkey Kong game. Here's an ad that I don't remember seeing this ad back in the day, but then again, I didn't read too many of the gaming magazines back then. I mostly just played the games and talked about them in school. But great game, Donkey Kong Country for the Game Boy Color. I believe this might be either a full or a half port of the Donkey Kong Country game for the Super Nintendo, but never played that one. Probably won't play it because I'm not into playing ports of games on handhelds unless the game's free or really, really cheap, because I'm not a big handheld fan. But Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy Kong's Quest, what a great game. I do have this game, and I've been playing it steadily. Donkey Kong Country 2, well, that was Donkey Kong Land that you saw there, I believe. No, it wasn't. Anyways, but yes, Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy Kong's Quest for the Super Nintendo, another great game. I believe I rented this game. I never did own an actual copy of the game, but great continuation of the series. You're mostly on a ship throughout this game. From what I can remember, you're having to deal with the same evil characters from the first game. You have the same sidekicks like the Rhino. You have some new enemies in the game. I forget what they are. You have the purple and red crocodile there. Let's see, what else? Let's see. I guess yeah. It looks like you're trying to save Donkey Kong in this game. And let me get a little bit of water here. But it's a great game. More great action platforming, solving puzzles at its best. It's a brilliant game. I currently do not own the game, but really enjoy it. But Donkey Kong Land 2 for the Game Boy, another great game that I am enjoying and playing steadily. I don't really like to play too much of it at once because it's on the Game Boy Color. Playing it on the Game Boy Color, and I mean it's still enjoyable. And I believe this game was only released as a yellow cartridge, but it's a great game. It's very similar to Donkey Kong Country 2 in the level design and the sounds. The game actually looks better if played on a Game Boy Color, and I think I'm probably about halfway through it. I'm playing on a brand new save. I do have other original saves that my brother had made on the game way back in 1990. Let's see when this game released. 1996. But it holds up pretty well. It's half in color if you play the game on the Game Boy Color, and I recommend playing it on that because it looks a heck of a lot better. I played the game on an original Game Boy, and it just looks kind of faded and just not so good. But great game though. You have underwater levels here. You're on the ship like you were in Donkey Kong Country 2. Some great ads there. You just can't beat the old video game ads in magazines. And there's a stand here that I guess someone bought. I don't own it. I wish I did own some of this stuff. Here's a Donkey Kong Country promo kit. I don't know what was included in it, but it definitely looks like an interesting item for a Donkey Kong Country fan to own, or just Donkey Kong fan to have. Here's DKC3. Dixie Kong's Double Trouble. I think I played a little bit of this game on emulator a couple years ago, and just wasn't too impressed with the gameplay. I believe this game at the time didn't do very well. I don't know how well it's doing as far as sales and downloads go, but I don't know. There's something about it. I think the series by this time was starting to kind of fizzle out, and I don't know. Maybe I'll give it another chance these days. Maybe these days I'll be a little more open to playing a game that I haven't played in years. I know I rented it way back in '96. I don't know. Maybe the producers are getting tired of the series and just kind of half-assed it here. I normally don't say that about great video game creators, but this game deserves a low grade. Donkey Kong 64. This is the official soundtrack cover. I never did buy video game soundtracks, and probably never will. 5 Apes Face a World of Trouble. Never have played Donkey Kong 64. I have played on emulator, and for some reason it just didn't run very well. I think the emulation program was not doing, didn't do well. And I don't really condone, as I've said in other videos, I don't really condone playing a game through emulator and just stealing it. If you like the game, buy it. But from what I played, it looked pretty good. In order to play this game properly, you will need to buy the expansion pack for your Nintendo 64 or whatever. But yeah, great game. It's in the style of like Mario 64, but it's Donkey Kong. And I do plan on picking this up in the future. Not anytime super soon, because I've been buying a lot of video games lately. But here's Donkey Kong Country Returns. This was released in 2010. DK64 was released in 1999 for those of you that want to know. But I guess this is more of a return to the original Donkey Kong Country, and I guess there's some new elements within this game, but never played it. Probably will play it sometime when I go over to my cousin's house. I'll probably end up purchasing this game used or something and play it. So, as far as I'm concerned, the Donkey Kong Country series has been great over the years. One that definitely needs to be looked back on and played. Sorry for all the warts and the mishaps and wording things in this video, guys, but I'm just gonna leave all this stuff in. This is a series I'll definitely enjoy, and I'll allow my kids to discover and enjoy. So, yeah, enjoy this game series, guys, and thanks for watching.